Michigan Soccer Central podcast, Robert Kerr alongside the one and only Josh Hakala. And we just wrapped up a marathon of play-by-play calling for the MSYSA State Cup Finals. We were divided, so this is actually the first time seeing each other all weekend. I had the luxurious field house games, and he was out in the dome out here in Brighton, Michigan.
Yeah, the chilly dome. Everyone was complaining. There are a lot of wimpy people. They were all like, it's cold in here. I'm like, we're not outside. It's cold, it's chilly, but you're fine. I wore this light, like, sweatshirt thing, and I'm fine.
We could have been, like, outside in the elements.
Yeah,
but
no, forget that.
All right, we're going to fill each other in on what we got up to all weekend, and you, listener/viewer, check in on what the youths are doing here in the State Cup Final. So I'll let you go first with, and we'll start with what you just did and go back in time.
Yeah, with the youths, we had I had the under-17 girls Premier Division State Cup Final. Michigan, this one, and a little secret, this is not a secret really, I think everybody knows this, like most broadcasters, we root against overtime. And so
especially in the last game of the day.
Especially the last game of the day, everyone's tired. But yeah, this one we almost did, but Grace Ratliff scored in the 73rd minute to save us all from overtime. And the Michigan Rush Lansing, they won over Royal Oak Green. It was an evenly matched game. I think that's what happens with some of these things. You get two really good teams, they're in the State Cup Final, and they're just cancel each other out, and sometimes it's just a low scoring game, and that's what we got in this one. So it was a good game, but Michigan Rush came out on top. There wasn't a whole lot to that one other than them canceling each other out.
What was before that then?
Well, we had Liverpool North Oakland beat Midland Fusion Green. I had a lot of goals in mine. I don't think you had as many in yours, but I had a 3-2 win there. Liverpool North Oakland winning that one. Michaela Holbein scored Emerson Wood a couple of goals for her, and that was the U19. That's how I started the day. And again, two very good teams, and they again cancel each other out. We had a goal scored from I had some good goals too. I don't know if you had many highlights, but I had like a direct corner kick go in. I had like a 40-yard goal. Like I had a few good ones. I'm sure you'll check on YouTube to find them.
It sounds like you had. I had the comfort. You had the action.
I think so. I think that's what it is. I got the chilly fingers, and but at least I had some good goals.
And then how'd you start your Sunday?
Well, the other game I had on Sunday was MFA Revolution in the U18 Premier Division. They beat Nationals Capital Area, which actually wrapped up a really unfortunate weekend for Nationals fans. If you're a National fan, I'm sorry. It was rough for you. They went 0 for 4 this weekend. The whole Saturday, there are 3 games on Saturday, and they lost all 3 games. And then I thought coming in, I'm like, hey, they'll redeem themselves. They come out with a trophy. No, they lost. MFA Revolution were really good. They've got Caitlin Vander Ark is a player I think that people want to keep an eye out for, and Claire Van Zanden. She scored a goal as well. They were really good. And that was one of the goals. The Nationals goal was scored from directly from the corner kick, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, MFA Revolution winning that one.
So how many losses did you actually see from the Nationals?
4.
4 Nationals losses. Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, in my Sunday, there wasn't any games that featured 2 teams that scored, so it was one-sided affairs. No blowouts, but one-sided affairs. So I'll start with the game that I just wrapped up, and it was DCFC West Rouge, which is the Canton-based DCFC affiliate, taking it on Michigan Hawks North. And I guess one of the highlights of my weekend was there was a lot of first-time State Cup finalists, and so that was cool. There was first-time winners in most of the games I had, and that included this DCFC West team led by Coach Sam Perani, and his side pretty much dominated. They came out 3-0 victors over Michigan Hawks, and tip my cap to them because I was told that the Saginaw Township Soccer Club, this is the first time a Saginaw Township Soccer Club team in their 50-year history, it was the first time they made it to
the place that
State
hosts
Cup.
all the state cup tournaments? They don't have like a storied tradition up there?
That's what
That's
I
what you're
found
told.
out. And then our Sunday lunchtime game here in the field house was probably my favorite team of the day. Came out victorious. The Thundercats, Orange, won 3-0 in their game as well. They won over the Traverse City Bay Area Youth Soccer, T-Bay's North Storm. Both teams in their first final. It was the first ever time the Thundercats had entered the competition, so it was impressive. And I guess over the last few years, they've been raising up the ranks from a regional to P3, P2, and now they're competing in P1. First time in the State Cup, and they pretty much dominated this game. And they're probably my favorite team of my Sunday lineup, and had some good goal scoring there. But it was pretty much decided right at the end. There was a goal, the first shot of the game went in, and the T-Bays never really looked like scoring, so it was pretty much just kept going. And as they kept on pushing up, they got a couple more, and that ended up 3-0. So,
As somebody who grew up in the 80s, I'm going to side with a team called the Thundercats. I think that's great.
They were an impressive team and definitely deserved winners, and then started the day off with a 2-0. Midwest United Royal came up on top over Saline FC 2-0.
Did you at least get some dramatic goal? Did these come late, or were these early goals that just, and you just had to hold on for the rest?
It was pretty much just a first half goal, one on either side at halftime. Both scored by the impressive Addison Holsworth. She got both, and it was two long shots actually. So the game was even. It was just the first one was like a 30-yard looper over the goalie. And that was 1-0 for a long time, and then the second goal was more at the top of the box, but another one. It was like an even game. Just two shots made the difference, and that was my Sunday. Like I said, there was 3 shutouts in those games, 3-3-0s, and started the day off with a 2, and that was the Premier Division for both of us. And then yesterday, we'll go back in our time machine to yesterday to the Elite Division, which is the higher division of the two. Why don't you fill me on how your Saturday went, Josh?
Yeah, well, and also I learned that the Premier Division advances to the Midwest President's Cup, which this is just youth soccer in a nutshell, really. It's a tournament. They're like, oh, they go to the Midwest President's Cup in Westchester, Ohio. Like, oh, when's that? Is that in the spring? No, it's next summer. So it's in June of 2023. That's when these teams are going to get, they will probably almost have forgotten how they got there. They're like, oh, remember that tournament we won 8 months ago? Yeah.
And who knows if the teams will even be the same by then.
Yeah, that's true too. So
but that's another thing about that Thundercats team. A lot of those girls had been with the team for years and years, so they've all risen. Most of them have risen together.
I feel like that was a theme with mine too. Every coach that I talked to would say they've been playing together since they were under 8 and all this stuff. And I feel like you have that continuity with a club. That's gonna bode well. You have halfway decent coaching. I think that's gonna work out for you.
Yeah. So Sunday's winners go on to this President's Cup, and then Saturday's winners go on to a regional championship in Missouri, in June.
Yeah. So they can already start making their vacation plans for next summer.
Book it.
I guess we're going to St. Louis, family. Sorry.
Where else would you rather be in June?
Yeah, right. Sure. I had some pretty some high scoring games. I had a 4-1 game. This is the first of the Nationals red wedding, I guess if you want to call it. Their red team. Sure, that works. Jaguars won their second straight state cup. They beat the Nationals 4-1 in the U19. This is again the elite division. Ella Kleiber was a big one. She was all over the field. We had this one goal that was particularly interesting in that, you can sort of see these plays develop. She got the ball and it seemed like nothing. Like she got it about 40, 45 yards away from goal and just took on one defender, got by her, and you're thinking, oh, she's going to lay it off. She's going to do, and she just kept going and nobody paid attention to her. Like they sort of maybe leaned toward her, and thinking, I don't know, maybe they were thinking like, oh, someone else is going to get her. No one got her. And she just went straight down the field and the sea parted and she just scored a goal. That was Janae Jackson for the Jaguars. So they got a win and 4-1 over the Nationals. And then in the second game, which by the way, we should also mention that they spread the games out more this year, which was kind of nice, both for the teams and for us and for everybody involved. Because, I don't know if any of you have ever been to a tournament where one game takes penalty kicks and the whole schedule is just thrown off, and then everyone's rushing onto the field to train, get ready for the next game and all that. So they spread them out, which was kind of nice. And then my second game was Legends FC beat Nationals Union in the U18.
Nationals.
And yeah, poor Nationals. They scored first, and it looked like they were going to come away with this. Legends FC is the home team, so obviously they had a little. I mean, both teams they're not that far away, so they both brought big crowds. But obviously Legends had a little extra, and they scored in the 84th minute. Alyssa Melquist scored a goal to win it, and it was a good game. But again, I'm sitting there thinking like Nationals, they're going to get one, right? And then the last game came, and the Nationals were outmatched by Michigan Rangers. Michigan Rangers dominated the game. They dominated possession, and you're just thinking, oh, they're gonna wipe the floor with them. They scored early, and then the game just kind of hung around at 1-0, and then Nationals scored 2 goals, one in the 64th, one in the 78th, and I'm like, holy cow, this counterattacking team's gonna like beat this Michigan Rangers team. They're gonna be so disappointed. And then in the second minute of extra time, Kendall Aiken scores a goal to tie the game and send it in extra time. Then Lexi Armstrong scores in extra time to win it. So Michigan Rangers give Nationals Union a third straight loss in the U17s. So rough weekend for Nationals. I feel for you.
All right, we just finished up.
I think. Oh yeah, that's mine. Just so you know.
We just finished up Josh's day. Ran out of.
You're taking way too many videos in your phone.
My video's full, so we got our second video here.
So if the video drastically improves, that is a great advertisement for whatever phone I have. So there we go.
All right, so my Saturday ended, the 2:30 game ended with probably the most impressive team that I saw, which was the youngest I saw in the Elite Division games on Saturday. It was Michigan Rush Northville, led by Coach Jeff Shook. Was an impressive 3-0 win. Michigan Rush defeating Cap City Athletic, probably the most one-sided game out of all 6 that I did here in the Fieldhouse this weekend. A handful of really impressive players, especially on the attacking end, including like Lila Megacy, Lauren Bambanek, amongst others that were really good. And like I said, probably the most one-sided game. And just we were commenting there when the video ran out that it was really impressive that these players have such skill, and they were like 13-year-olds.
Yeah, and I have 11-year-olds, and they're just starting the travel soccer thing, and I'm just thinking like there's still some elements of mosh pit soccer, that's happening. It's getting better, but we're still having moments of it, and I'm thinking like, what, in 2 years we're gonna like be crossing the ball and switching and having off-ball runs and all this? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I will be impressed if we get there. But for right now, it's so impressive to see what these U13 and U14 players can do.
Yeah, that U14 Michigan Rush, they win 3-0 over Cap City Athletic. Really impressive. Some really exciting players. Hopefully they continue in their soccer career, and who knows, the sky's the limit for them. My Saturday lunchtime game, the U15 Elites, was a Legends versus Michigan Tigers. Again, a 3-0 win. So not a lot of drama there in this game. Tigers, this one is blurred in the memory a little bit here. Limited notes, as you can see. Actually, I do recall now looking at that. It was 0-0 at the break, and then 3 second-half goals by the Michigan Tigers pulled that one out. And then I started the day on Saturday. Oh, yeah, okay. So now it's coming back to me. It's a 3-0 win because it was a penalty shootout.
Oh, see, there you go.
All right, it's all coming back to me now. Okay.
No, this is what happens, though, because, like, what happens, and we've been doing this for a couple years now, and now I have coaches who I've seen again, because obviously they're at big clubs that always go to the State Cup final, and he's like, oh, yeah, remember that game last year where something happened? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Okay, so the story of the game...
It all blends together.
Okay, the story of the game is coming back to me, and this was actually my most tightly contested game. It was 0-0, and it was truly just completely even teams. There wasn't, like, any space. Like, every ball to the outside had a challenge on it. No attacker was able to get in behind. There was, like, no slack play. It was just even Stevens. And it's interesting that the Tigers end up winning in penalty shootouts because the Legends had won both of their knockouts in penalty shootouts to get to the final. So it almost, when the game was so tight, it seemed inevitable that it was going to penalties. Credit to the fitness because in the extra time, it didn't seem like there was going to be a goal, but the energy levels remained high. Granted, there's a million substitutions, but these U15s did very, very well. And
I don't know if you had the same issue, but I feel like I know that they let them sub like crazy at this level. It makes sense, but it seems like they should still do the substitution windows or something where that way they're not. I mean, it's almost, I also think in baseball where they made sure that the relief pitcher faces 3 batters at a minimum. It seems like if you're gonna sub 3 players in the next 5 minutes, just put them all out there, all at once. And that way we don't have to, stop the game, play for 2 minutes. Oh, here's another one, and, do that. That would be my one reform that I would throw in there. Other than getting a substitution board, that would be great. I would love that, but that's purely for me.
Yeah, I was good at calling the outgoing subs.
Oh, yeah. They never
going
face
away.
You. Yeah, I actually asked one time last year, and I think they thought I was weird. I was like, could you have the player just, turn around? That seems like a weird question to ask for a little girl soccer game.
But
maybe
you gotta get the number off the back.
Yeah, I need the number, and of course nobody had numbers on their shorts all the time, and so
I think I only had one team with numbers on the shorts, but yeah, this Legends team who had made it to the final, they faced the Michigan Tigers, who end up winning 3-0 in the penalty shootout. The Legends team missed all of their shots.
Well, now I've been calling these things for a few years, and I've never had a rooting interest, and now I kind of do because my girls play for the Michigan Tigers. So maybe they gave you this game, this field, because they didn't want me to be biased.
No bias.
Of course, I probably don't know anybody on the team, but
The Legends had a big crowd section because we are in the home of the Legends here at the Legacy Center, but they made it all the way to the final, but fell in penalty shootouts, which is pretty cruel because penalty shootouts are a tough way to lose anything. But for 14-year-old girls, pretty brutal to miss all their penalty shots. And then I started with the day of the only game of the weekend where both teams scored, so it was the only one that was somewhat contested.
And it was still a 3-1 game.
It was still a 3-1, but that third one didn't come until the end. So the first game was actually the most physical game. There was a lot of collisions. While the Premier is technically lower rated, I thought that there was more deliberate, let's pass and move and play. And yesterday in the Elite games, there was a lot more collisions and physical play. Strangely enough, I thought it would have been the other way around. But, I mean, the players did seem faster, and there was I don't know. There was a different pace to play, but definitely tons of collisions. And I got to say, the winners of this was SCORE, which was the soccer club of Rockford. Rockford just north of Grand Rapids, so against the Michigan Rangers. So a Grand Rapids area kind of rivalry.
The artist formerly known as Fire Juniors, right?
Correct.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
And from what I heard, that these two clubs have been facing each other pretty frequently since 2008, so very familiar teams, but it was the soccer club of Rockford with a 3-1 win to start this whole weekend off for me. So I guess.
And you're thinking, I'm going to have goals everywhere, and not so much.
I guess there wasn't any 1-0s. There was at least 2 goals, 3 goals in most of them. But I guess my takeaway is nice to see some clubs get their clubs and some teams get their first state title win. I guess what's your takeaway?
Yeah, I think I can't not point out the Nationals Union struggles, but I mean, really, I had some nice variety too. I mean, like sometimes if you get like all Jaguars games or you get all Union games or whatever, but I had a good variety. I had a Legends game, I had a Jaguars game, I had a Rangers game. So I feel like I got like a pretty wide variety of teams to see where people are at with their talent, and man, there are a lot of impressive players, and a lot of them are already picking their colleges, and some of the coaches are talking to some of the coaches, and for them, some of them have brought these teams along, and they have never experienced the whole college recruiting thing as a coach, and so this was new for them, and I thought that was kind of interesting to see, like I don't know, I'm getting all these calls from scouts and like these coaches from these schools and all these things, and like I want to do what's best for the player and like want to help them make a good decision, but it's ultimately up to them, and like I don't, it's interesting for them to just on that new experience for the coaches anyway. So,
well, 2022 Michigan Youth Cup or the MSYSA State Cup 2022 is a wrap. And
you can check it out on YouTube. I guess all of our games are going to be on YouTube, so if you want to check them out,
I was saying that all weekend, live and archived on the MSYSA YouTube channel. So if you're curious to check out what these travel youth teams are doing, it's right there on the MSYSA YouTube channel. So thank you, Josh. Another one in the books.
All right. Till next time.